John, we're doing our top 20 fantasy quarterbacks tonight. It's all about quarterbacks.
Joseph Burrow from the Cincinnati Bengals. Joseph Burrow.
Yes, sir.
He could put up those giant numbers, but he's got the best receiving core in the league. And they're all back. And they added a good tight end who I think is actually going to help that team. And then line to protect them. I just don't see it getting any worse. And I think they're getting further away from the running game instead of using it more. I actually think he's going to pass more this year because he doesn't have P. Ryan there. So
I just got bad mojo. I'm going to use Johnny's phrase here. Bad mojo about him. The cover of Madden. I don't think they did anything to improve his offensive line.
They didn't want to throw the ball down the field. Well, things have changed. They got Kellen Moore now. And he likes to throw the ball down the field, John.
He does.
So what do we think? Is this a resurrection year for Herbert?
Autumn is approaching, and that can only mean one thing: fantasy football. Lucky for you, you are right where you need to be. So sit back, relax, and turn up the volume on your streaming device. Johnny Ballgame, Sir Poops-A-Lot, and the Fantasy Reaper are about to deliver humor and fantasy gold at the same time. Crush your opponent with a smile. It's Fantasy Sports Island.
Welcome back, Fantasy Sports Island. What's going on, fellas?
We got a special guest today, Chuck.
We sure do.
Who?
It's the fantasy antagonist, Keith. What's going on, my brother?
What's going on?
Nice.
You guys are having too much fun without me. I had to join.
Dude,
It's been a minute,
you, man. Yeah. Some of our fans from Rumble don't even know you. Like, they haven't even met you yet, Keith. This is the first time.
Rumble? What is Rumble?
Tell them about Rumble.
Rumble is a new platform that we're on besides YouTube. If you go in the if you go in the search and hit Fantasy Sports Island, you shall find it.
Nice. I'll have to check it out.
All right.
Nice segue.
So, yeah, nice segue. Let's talk about that. Welcome to Fantasy Sports Island, where we help you win your fantasy football league, all while having a nice sense of humor, right, John?
You got to believe it. You got to believe it.
We all, I don't know about you, Keith, but the rest of us all have 25 years plus of fantasy football experience. How many years you got there, Keith?
Yeah, probably since 95, 96.
Nice.
Okay, you're close. You're close.
Yeah.
All right. By the way, we invented PPR. You're welcome. If you're playing in a PPR league today, then you owe us a like down below. Hit the like button, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And now let me introduce you to my co-host. First, Johnny freaking Ballgame. We call him John Wesley Ballgame III.
That's exactly right. That's my official
Johnny
name. Yes. Jonathan W. Ballgame III. It's good to be back. Good to be here with you guys. And I'm ready to talk some football. And I'm so excited to have Keith on the show today. So,
John, where can they hit you up on Twitter?
At JohnIsbell85. At me, I dare you. Let's go.
And welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show, Mr. Keith, the fantasy antagonist. How you doing?
What's going on? How you guys doing? I'm doing well.
And tell the fans where they can hit you up on Twitter.
Oh, I don't know if I have a Twitter.
Oh, we gotta get.
I gotta work on that. I know.
So don't.
I gotta work on that.
You will not be adding.
Somebody at me a Twitter account.
We'll definitely get Keith the Twitter account. I am the Fantasy Reaper, and you can at me at the Fantasy Reaper. Easy enough, right? Welcome back to the show. We got a good one for you tonight. John, we're doing our top 20 fantasy quarterbacks tonight. It's all about quarterbacks.
We don't stop at 10.
We don't stop at 12.
No. 15, some shows, sure. Not us. 20.
Not us. Nope.
And you know why? Because in your draft, you're not going to just draft one quarterback. Most of you are going to get two. So we at least got to go 20 deep for y'all.
Yeah, you had to make it all difficult.
Yeah. Keith struggled with the top 20 tonight, but I think we have a nice list.
That's a good list for sure. There's going to be a few differences back and forth. I left somebody off that everybody else didn't. Chuck left somebody off that most of us didn't. So that's why we do these lists, people.
So tonight we're going to go over that top 20 list, and then we are going to discuss our anomalies between the consensus. We got Tony also who put in his votes for the top 20 candidates, and it will be our top 20 consensus quarterbacks. I can't wait to get to that, but what we got to do first is obviously our news and notes. But before we do that, John, tell them what they should do.
Well, they should like us, first of all. They should hit the bell. And they should give us some ideas for scripts in the shows. Put some stuff in the comments, people. Do you not understand? We'll do pretty much anything. Keith's already talking about nudity. I mean, literally, whatever we got to do to get ratings and likes in the show. You know what I mean? Like, come on, people.
We would appreciate it if you just hit the like button and subscribe. And if you have any ideas, like John says, for the show, put in the comment. Except for nudity, we'll pretty much do anything.
Yeah, excluding nudity.
Yeah, we might not do nudity.
This is a PG-rated show, John. Let's not forget.
That's right. That's a good point.
But it's for the kids, Johnny. For the kids.
Yeah.
For the kids.
All right. Sit back, relax, have a pina colada, enjoy the next hour, because here we go. Starting with our news and notes. Johnny's got to sing real quick, Keith. You know how it is.
No, I'm okay.
All right.
Yeah.
DeAndre Hopkins is going to meet with your Tennessee Titans, John. First thing in free agency. Oh, my God. John, what would you do? What would you do for a Klondike bar? And then what would you do for DeAndre Hopkins in Tennessee?
Klondike bar, honestly, not that much. It's just an ice cream sandwich. I don't know that I'm going to do a bunch for a Klondike bar. Andre Hopkins in Tennessee is interesting because they could really use an Andre Hopkins in Tennessee. And that makes everybody else just better. Like, Henry's going to be better. Like, I'm kind of excited about that idea. I hadn't really thought about him for Tennessee before, but I like it. I actually like it a lot.
Who's throwing him the ball?
Tanny. Tanny's going to be around for another year.
Come on.
Tanny can chuck the ball, man.
He's
can chuck
getting
it.
over the hill.
Will Ryan Tannehill make our top 20 list?
No, for sure not. No. But but now that Hopkins is going to be there, maybe I change my mind.
No.
I'll tell you this. Last year's Tennessee Titan wide receiver core was one of the worst wide receiver cores in the history of football. It was bad. It was really, really bad. And they could really use DeAndre Hopkins to add to their weaponry. Just like you said, to loosen things up on the outside, on the other side for Treylon Burks, and in the middle for the running backs.
Yeah. Tannehill ended up as the 27th quarterback last year, but he also missed 5 games. So, I know. It is what it is.
All right. DeAndre Hopkins is already told, it's basically already for sure that he's not going to be a Jaguar and he's not going to be a Cowboy. Both those teams came out and said they're not interested in signing DeAndre Hopkins. So, unfortunately, your theory of him going to the Cowboys will be incorrect, John.
Yeah.
Damn. We wanted that.
It wasn't a Johnny Ballgame gut feeling, but I thought it was a good move.
It made sense. Jerry Jones likes to make those splash moves. So
yeah, he does.
All right.
How, where do you think he's going?
Yeah, let's talk about that. I was just going to ask you,
where do you think
Keith,
he's going?
Where do you think he's going?
I'd really like to see him back in Cleveland or with Deshaun Watson. I'd really like to see them back together. Although Amari Cooper and Donovan Peoples-Jones is there. And they also got that guy from Elijah Moore.
Moore, yeah.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit crowded, but
yeah,
would be nice to see them back together.
I'll tell you what, I don't mind that idea, and I do think Deshaun's going to make a bit of a comeback this year. But like you said, it's a crowded room, and he might see that as a crowded room, whereas in Tennessee, he goes, I pretty much got it. You know what I mean? Like, it's Treylon Burks and then nobody. So, he might take that. And it is a good enough team. It's got a good enough defense, great running back if he can stay healthy. It's a team that can make a run in a very weak division, let's face it. I mean, it's one of the weaker divisions in the AFC. Now, the AFC itself is a tough road to hoe to get to the Super Bowl, but at least in that division, they can get to the playoffs.
And let's not beat around the bush. He'll also get paid in Tennessee. He'll get his money. because they got cap
sure.
room.
Yeah, that's the thing about Buffalo and Kansas City. They don't have any cap room. Plus, I don't want him going to an already made team too. I kind of want to see him help a team out, and so it'd be nice.
Yeah, exactly. He could help out a team like the Titans tremendously. Whereas if he goes to the Chiefs, it's kind of just like it'll help them a little bit. How much better can they get? Right? They already won the Super Bowl, so
I'm also sick of the Chiefs. I want someone else in there. You know what I mean? Like, can we just let someone else play in the Super Bowl for a change? Can we do that?
Can we do that, please? All right. Bills quarterback Josh Allen was named the NFL cover for the game Madden 24. I believed in the Madden curse back in the day. I just wanted to know, do you guys still believe in that curse?
Yep. If I'd have known this before I made my quarterback rankings, I might have knocked him down a few. I don't want him. I want no part of him.
What about you, Kate? Do you believe in this Madden curse?
I was going to get to that when we did over the rankings.
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah, I think there's a little something to it. I think it's
too.
I think it's definitely something that hit them early on, and it's kind of gone by the wayside for a while. But I still think there's something there. There's something just odd about it, and that definitely could affect Josh Allen here.
Did Lamar have his MVP year the year he was on the cover, or was that the year before he was on the cover?
I think it was the year.
I feel like he was the cover after that. The year after.
That's what I think too, which was not a great year. Like I just think, like, I can't think of anyone who graced the cover who then went on to have a fantastic year, unless Jefferson did last year, who had a great year last year. I can't remember. Was he on Madden last year?
He was. I don't think he was the cover last year. No, he was not. So, Curse is still alive.
Curse is alive.
Lamar was on the 2021 Madden.
Who?
Lamar Jackson.
And Lamar had his career year in, like, I believe 2020, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it was Mahomes and Brady last year.
That's right. There you go. All right, enough about Madden.
Had a pretty good year.
Get the game and play the hell out of it, but let's not talk about Madden anymore. All right, wide receiver Michael Thomas says he will be ready to go at full speed for opening day of training camp this year. We do this every year. We're all done with this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's worth a flyer if you take him as your wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5, maybe. Because, I mean, if he stays healthy, he could produce. But, I mean, we're done, like, trying to talk about Michael Thomas, right?
Yeah. I'm glad he's excited. That's fantastic. And I'm excited for another 43 catch, 400 yard season that's ended in injury. So it's going to be.
I'd rather have Rashid Sheehy or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. I'd rather have him, to be honest. All right. Yeah. Running back Ramondre Stevenson says he is, quote, getting ready to be the guy, unquote. He is expected to have a large role in the backfield this season with the Patriots. I mean, sure, he could say that, but we're still talking about Patriots. I mean, Keith, is he going to be the go-to guy? Is he going to get more carries than last year?
Last I checked, Belichick is still there, right? So,
yeah.
He's always had a running back by committee there, and I don't see that changing. They brought in.
Do you remember who the last bell cow was?
Corey Dillon.
I was going to say Corey Dillon. Yeah, Corey Dillon was good.
Bell cow running back for the season. I mean, and it ended up pretty well because Corey Dillon actually did really well there. But
yeah, they brought in that other running back from Jacksonville too. I forget his name, Jackson.
Yeah, they did bring him in, Robinson. Yeah, and he's coming off an Achilles injury, so we'll see.
Robinson.
I'm not even sure he'll make the team. I mean, we'll see.
I like Ramondre, and I do think Belichick's going to lean on him more. I actually really do. Because O'Brien is there.
You go ahead.
O'Brien's the offensive coordinator. O'Brien's going to want to protect Mac as much as he can. And Ramondre can be the bell cow. He can catch. He can run. Fast. Strong. I really like him this year. I think they'd be
I do
crazy.
think he'll get. I think he'll get more
last year.
Yeah, Pierre Strong. They saw Pierre Strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
but
it's
he's
still going to
French.
be a committee. It's going to.
He's French.
I don't know.
They can't play football.
I'd like to apologize to all of our French watchers out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot of those. Yeah.
But yeah, we're huge in
Just in
France.
case.
Yeah.
All right. Jimmy G's also expected to be ready for camp. So the foot thing that we were worried about seems like it's kind of like it's going to work out. Jimmy G's going to get his money. He's going to be the quarterback for the Raiders. Now, I'm going to ask you, is he do a better job than Derek Carr?
No. No, he can't
I'm
throw the
gonna
ball down the field like like Carr kid. And it's just you can already see it. Devontae's already upset, and that's just going to get. It's just a whole mess. I can't.
Well, I mean, part of the reason why he's upset is because he came to Vegas to play with his buddy Carr, and Carr left after 1 year. So, but I think Jimmy G's very accurate, much more accurate than Carr. What say you, John?
I think if Jimmy G can stay on the field, Jimmy G knows the offense. He played under that offense for years. I think it's actually a really good marriage. But the big elephant in the room is, can he stay on the damn field?
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust him for that. He's in my top 20. I'm just going to give you a quick sneak peek. He's in my top 20 because I think he's that talented. And if he stays healthy, he can actually be a really good quarterback.
All right. The Washington Commanders quarterbacks Sam Howell and Jacoby Brissett will both compete for the starting job. Neither one is promised the starting position, according to head coach Ron Rivera. Good, because
we've sure changed our tune though in the last couple of weeks, haven't we?
Yeah.
You know what happened? They went in for mini camp and they went, "Holy shit, Brissett's way better than Howell."
Sam Howell can't throw the ball. Holy crap! What are we gonna do?
They're like, actually, Brissett's pretty good. Maybe Howell. Because I mean, what did Ron Rivera say? Just because Howell's starting as number one doesn't mean he's going to finish camp as number one. That is the biggest backpedal I have seen in years.
Oops. Made a mistake there.
Howell's our guy, unless it's Brissett.
Yeah, and Brissett was good last year in Cleveland. Much better than Deshaun Watson. Much better.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
yeah.
Last bit of news. The Raiders running back Josh Jacobs has yet to sign his franchise tag and is not participating at mandatory minicamp, according to head coach Josh McDaniels. Anything to worry about here, Keith? What do you think?
I don't think so. I mean, he's just going to sign. He just doesn't want to do training camp. And a lot of these guys just like, why do I want to get injured or risk big money getting injured during training camp? I'll just sign it last days. And
he also put a lot of miles on his wheels last year.
Yeah.
I don't mind him getting some extra rest into the summer. Now, here's where I will worry if he skips all of camp, because that almost always ends in they sign right before the season, they get in the first game, they pull a hamstring, they're out for 4 games, they never have the same season, right? So I start to worry there. I don't care about mini camps in June. I just don't.
I agree. I think it's all going to work out. Josh Jacobs is also a very good value if you get him in the 3rd round, like he's going in best ball drafts right now, because he's going to carry the same load as last year. He's on a contract year again, so I don't see things changing much. So, okay,
love it.
On to the main event. Top 20 fantasy quarterbacks. And we're going to go from top to bottom. It's just more fun that way. People have short attention spans, John. I'm just going to say it. And so you want to talk about the big names first before they tune out. Yeah?
Yeah. And then they want to hear the gems, but we'll save those towards the end. You know what I mean? We'll save the sleepers, the ones they're going to want to pick up in the late rounds.
So you're going to want to stick around till the end, folks. Don't be clicking out.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Don't click out. Don't be a baby. Stay for the
quarterback 1. Here we go. Patrick Mahomes. But this is not the industry norm, okay? In our league, it's Patrick Mahomes because in our league, we reward accuracy. Okay, it's not just about the running quarterbacks, although Patrick can do that. But Patrick Mahomes was our number one quarterback in our league last year.
Not all of
In
us.
your league out there, it was probably Josh Allen or even Jalen Hurts. But in our league, it was Patrick Mahomes. John, I know he's not your number one quarterback, and he's not mine either. He's not mine either.
Really?
But, yeah. Keith, since he's your number one quarterback, tell us why he's still the number one quarterback.
Yeah, what's Patrick Mahomes done to earn that?
I know, right? I mean, just looking at the numbers, he outscored everybody else by 100 points in our league. That's pretty big decipher right there. He's pretty good. And then his wide receivers were very untalented or very unskilled to begin the beginning of the year. I think another season under their belts, it's going to help them a lot. Hey, and if they get Hopkins, who knows? But I
not good.
Yeah,
for the league,
not for the rest of the league.
Not for the rest of the league, no. But I can't put anybody else above him with what he's done. He's locked in a Hall of Fame already. Come on.
I mean, I get it. The safe play is Patrick Mahomes. He's still got Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Kadarius Toney. They added Richie James. They drafted Rashee Rice. They have this kid, Justin Ross. Yeah, I mean, they got some weapons. They have John Ross, a speedster. And, they spread the ball out. And they still have Travis Kelce, John. So, yeah, I get it.
I mean, I have him as number 2. It's not like he's going to fall off that much. He just wasn't my number 1.
Okay. He's also my number 2. John, let's tell him why. Who is your number 1, but the consensus number 2?
Joseph Burrow from the Cincinnati Bengals. Joseph Burrow.
Yes, sir. Tell me why.
He's got the best wide receiver core in the league. He finished as the number 2 quarterback last year with a line that had more holes in it than Swiss cheese. I mean, he was getting his ass kicked every game, and he's putting up numbers that were insane. And for a long stretch, he was the most steady quarterback with points through that year, like just every week. And then he hit a couple of weeks where he had a 75-point week, a 59-point week, a 67-point week. He could put up those giant numbers, but he's got the best receiving core in the league, and they're all back. And they added a good tight end who I think is actually going to help that team. And then line to protect them. I just don't see it getting anywhere. And I think they're getting further away from the running game instead of using it more. I actually think he's going to pass more this year because he doesn't have P. Ryan there. So that's my reason for him going to be number 1.
And who knows
Jamar
how long
Chase is healthy.
Is going to be.
Yeah, I think Jamar Chase is going. Everyone. I'm telling everyone right now, and I think John is with me on this. I think Jamar Chase is going to have the monster year this year. Like, this is the breakout year for him. 3rd year, he's going to be the wide receiver 1, and the guy throwing him the ball is going to benefit Joe Burrow. And like you said, T. Higgins, Irv Smith. They're going to run less with Joe Mixon. I think they're going to throw him the ball more.
I mean, Boyd's the number 2 on any other team. He's the number 3 here. And, yeah, it's going to be good.
Keith, did we convince you?
For a number 2? Yeah, I guess I could see him as number 2.
Is that your number 1 too, Chuck? Did you go Burrow?
It is. I did.
Nice.
I'm convinced.
So we were split.
It was us at number 1, and Keith and Tony had him at 2. Yeah. Actually, I mean, that's not true. They had Patrick Mahomes at 1. Yeah. Keith had him at 3, but they had Patrick Mahomes at 1, and we had Burrow at 1. So it was split. All right, let's talk about 3. Well, it's Jalen Hurts. Number 3 is Jalen Hurts. So a lot of leagues have Jalen Hurts either 1 or 2. In our league, he's 3 for our consensus. Keith, where did you have Jalen Hurts?
I had Hurts at 2. It was really hard for me. The top is really hard for me because I think those 3. I wouldn't fault anybody for choosing either one of those 3 for their number 1 quarterback.
I mean, honestly, I have him at 5, but I could have made an argument for putting him anywhere 2 to 5.
I just think that team just got better with Swift too.
Yeah.
It just added more dynamics to that team. I mean, that the team's just getting faster and faster, and it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous. Like, you add that much speed to an offense
I mean,
that was
AJ
already
Brown,
prolific.
with a full year in the offense now, like
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
going to be insane.
Yeah, it's an incredible offense. But does Hurts run less because he did hurt his shoulder last year? Cost him a couple games. He was banged up at the end. Do they try to like run less?
I think
I
he'll
think they
run more
do.
effectively. I think
Maybe,
he'll run
yeah.
more effectively. I think he'll get bigger runs. I mean, you got Rashard Penny there too. They're gonna get some more runs out of him too. I just think that there's gonna be some more options more now that they don't have what was that stupid running back that they had there before?
That's how good he was.
Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders.
Sanders.
Miles Sanders, yes.
Yeah.
Mild Sanders.
Miles Sanders. Yeah, so Miles Sanders moves on. I actually think with the running back room that they have, it's more pass friendly for Jalen Hurts, so
Yeah.
that could be
I
a
do
bonus
too.
for him. Yeah,
Yeah.
because Miles Sanders just didn't catch passes. Okay, so Jalen Hurts at 3. How about Josh Allen at 4? Where'd you have him,
Cavity's
John?
on the Madden. I had him at 3.
I did too.
Yeah.
I take that back. I had him at 4. I had Jalen Hurts at 3. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay, so if DeAndre Hopkins lands in Buffalo, I will definitely up Josh Allen's ranking at least one spot, maybe 2, because I think that would be huge for him. But assuming they don't get him, I don't see enough improvements to help him finish better than he did last year. And in our league, I think he finished 4th.
He finished 3rd.
Okay, finished 3rd.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that Keith, like, tell me why Josh Allen isn't like a 1 or a 2 this year.
I just got bad mojo. I'm going to use Johnny's phrase here, bad mojo about him. I just the cover of Madden. I don't think they did anything to improve his offensive line. I think they're going to use James Cook more. I just don't. There's something going on with Diggs and that relationship with the team too. So there's just some things here that I just I'll stay away. I'll grab somebody else.
Okay, yeah,
I'm
and
kind of
the
with
draft.
you. I feel the same way.
The draft cost is high. Like, you got to pick up Josh Allen in probably the 2nd round.
Right.
So, let's talk about the next guy who you could wait 2 more rounds and get, and he might outscore Josh Allen, and that's Justin Fields. And John will let you talk about Justin Fields. He's our 5, and you are expecting a major breakout this year, right?
I am. I honestly think he's going to have the Jalen Hurts type of breakout. He's already following in sort of his footsteps. Very mediocre rookie year, great running second year. Now we're getting into the 3rd year where he's going to throw. They got him some receivers. They got DJ Moore. Moody's coming back. Claypool will have a whole offseason in the system. They've got 2 tight ends in Komet, and Bobby Tonyan comes over from Green Bay. They've got a couple of running backs who can catch the ball. I really think, and they added to their offensive line. So this is they did as much as they could to help Fields actually be competitive. And so I just feel like this is the big jump year for him.
Is DJ Moore going to make that big a difference, Keith?
Well, considering they didn't have anybody last year, so yeah, I think he does. I mean, Mooney was hurt all year last year.
Yeah.
And
They said Mooney earlier, Mooney. Yeah.
They already moved on away from Allen Robinson. They shipped him to the Rams, so I think this is a big deal for him. I think he's going to run just as much as he did, and now he's going to have that passing ability that he's going to be due.
Yeah,
for sure.
And this will be his 2nd year in that offense too. That new offensive coordinator. So who's already raving about how much further along Fields is this year than he was last year. So
yeah, and if you remember last year, there was about a 4 or 5 week span where he was like the quarterback 1 or 2. Like he was
Yeah.
ridiculous. And
Yes.
then he got hurt and things changed. But if he can stay healthy, John, with that new offensive line and those weapons, this guy's capable of a quarterback 1 finish. On maybe 2 because we like Burrow, so I won't say that. But yeah, I could see this guy really stepping up and exploding this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Okay.
him.
And you can get him in the 3rd, 4th round, depending on your
Probably.
draft. Yep. That's a good spot. All right. This next guy says he's going to throw for 6,000 yards, Johnny, and he's never thrown for more than 3,400. But
Yep.
somehow, number 6, Lamar Jackson, is going to break the NFL record for yardage because he got a few weapons. Do we buy the weaponry in Baltimore with Odell Beckham and Tyler Flowers? And, and they still have Mark Andrews.
Did you say Tyler Flowers?
I did.
Zay
Flowers. Sorry about that. That's a
Yeah.
catcher, by the way, in baseball.
I had Lamar ranked at 4.
You
So
do.
I'm actually buying into a little bit of this. I think a motivated Lamar is a very different Lamar, and Lamar got paid. Lamar's feeling a little good about himself, but he's out to now prove that his 1 MVP year wasn't a fluke. And he's finally got receivers. They've got a good line. They've got great running backs. Not great, but good. They've got good running backs. I just feel like this is the year that Lamar goes off. I would not be surprised if at the end of the year, Lamar is the number 1 quarterback.
They also, let's not forget, they have Rashad Bateman, who was he caught a few long bombs last year and then he got hurt. So we didn't really get to see like what he can do.
They've got Andrews. They've got Likely. They've got weapons on this team finally. This is the best receiving core by far Baltimore's had in, I can't tell you, since Anquan Bolden? I mean, when's the last time they had this good of a receiver room?
Keith, are you buying it? Are you buying
No.
it? Oh.
No.
I'm not. I think I had him at 10. I don't like him as a quarterback. I don't like his mechanics. I don't think he's a great thrower. He can throw bombs. He can throw it far.
He's got a cannon.
I don't think he's accurate.
I agree.
And I think that they've got a pretty tough schedule ahead of them.
Tough division.
It is a tough division. I will give you that.
So, Baltimore's always been a run-first team, and I think they're going to continue. I think I really like J.K. Dobbins this year. I think the wide receivers that they got are going to take
remember,
off.
they switched offensive coordinators, so
they did. They're going to throw more. Steichen's in there now.
More.
Yeah. Also, let's not forget, Lamar Jackson only had 4 rushing touchdowns last year. He ran the ball a lot less.
He threw a bunch of touchdowns.
Not last year. He didn't. The year before.
No, not run for. I said he threw a bunch of touchdowns, right?
He did not throw for a bunch of touchdowns.
He didn't. Oh, okay.
No. He had
that's right. That was the year before.
Yeah, it was the year before. He had a very mediocre season until he got injured. So, I of course, like you said, he didn't have any weapons, but I mean, he's not running the ball like he did the year he won the MVP, folks.
Right. He's not.
No, those days are probably over because they don't want him to get freaking hurt.
No, but if he runs half of that and throws
for 6,000 yards,
he's not going to throw for 6. But even if he throws for 5 or 4,800 and runs half of his yards, he's getting 500 yards rushing. Those are good numbers. Those are good numbers.
If he gets 4,000 yards, I think that would be a banner season for him because he's not that type of quarterback. If he gets 4,000 yards throwing and 600-700 rushing, and maybe like 30 to 35 overall touchdowns, you'll take that. You'll take that.
Yeah.
All right. Number 7, Justin Herbert. And I'm just going to say it, John. This dude pissed me off last year. Big time. I mean, I thought last year was going to be the big year, and he was a huge disappointment. I mean, by the end of the year, they became a running team. Like they didn't want, or a conservative passing team. They didn't want to throw the ball down the field. Well, things have changed. They got Kellen Moore now, and he likes to throw the ball down the field, John.
He does.
So what do we think? Is this a resurrection year for Herbert?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I have him all the way up at 4.
Yeah, you do.
So I think it's definitely. I think Moore just definitely brings a whole different dynamic to that team, and they're going to be throwing the ball like crazy, I think, and I can't wait to see it.
Go ahead, John.
I agree. I have him at 8, but I could have made an argument of putting him anywhere from 4 to 8. Like, you know what I mean? Like feel like you could put all these 4, 5 quarterbacks in a box and shake them up and pull somebody out, and you could put any of them in any of those spots. I love that Kellen Moore is his coach this year, his coordinator this year. So, but his head coach is the same head coach, and his head coach is a very conservative, defensive-minded guy. So that's my only caution. And his 2 wide receivers can't stay on the field together.
Which is why I think the drafting of Quentin Johnson was huge.
Yeah, that was huge. I agree with you. I agree.
Yeah. So when one of those guys goes down, he can kind of slide in there. He's a big receiver, so he can do what Mike Williams does on the outside. I like the fit. I wish they would have gone Jordan Addison for the slot, because I think Keenan Allen's getting old. So, but I get why they like Johnson, because honestly, Mike Williams is probably gone next year too.
Yeah,
Mike Williams gets hurt too much too.
Yeah,
he does.
That guy gets nicked up. He starts games and then doesn't finish games, and he's really irritating to have.
Oh yeah.
All right. I think he's going to bounce back this year and throw for 5,000 yards. So I like Herbert.
Oh, maybe he's the first 6,000 yard guy. Actually, it's going to be Burrow. Anyway, what?
I like that.
You said that.
I like that. All right, number 8. This guy's getting all the play. Trevor Lawrence. The industry's in love with Trevor Lawrence.
The play.
Yeah, they love his hair. They think Ridley's coming back. They're going to add on to what they did last year. The last thing we remember is Trevor Lawrence, that monster comeback against the Chargers, all those touchdowns.
So good.
But honestly, overall for the whole year, he wasn't that good. He wasn't even he barely finished top 10.
Number 9 in our league.
Exactly.
He's a top 10 QB.
He's a top 10, but it wasn't anything spectacular. And the reason why he finished top 10 was because he stayed healthy. If you look at points per game, it's less. He's lower. So
he's just super inconsistent. Like you'll go 45, 51, 6, 15,
Ouch.
48, 15, 40, 46, 60, 24. You know what I mean? Like it's just it's a roller coaster ride with him. Yeah. But I do think he played way better at the end of the season, and I think he played really well in the playoffs. And I think Calvin Ridley is going to be a ridiculous addition to this team.
Okay.
Me too.
Now you've got Kirk. You've got him. You've got I can't remember what that other kid they signed last year.
Zay Jones.
Ingram. You've got the tight end Ingram back. You've got ATN, and they picked up another running back who is just as fast.
Tank Bisbee.
Yeah, Tank.
Mm-hmm.
I
love
think
that
they win that
name for a
division
running back.
if Tennessee can't. I know Tank's a great name. I think Lawrence is going to have a really good year.
Yeah, Tank's a great name, but he's not a tank. He's a small guy, so it's kind of.
He's a small little guy.
Yeah.
Keith, you like Trevor Lawrence?
Oh yeah, I like Trevor Lawrence a lot, and you even forgot even Evan Ingram, tight end. Yeah. So they're pretty loaded. I mean, I think it's going to take a few weeks for Ridley just to get back into rhythm.
Sure.
I mean, you got to remember he's been gone for a whole year. So that'll be some fun to watch, especially against lesser teams like Houston and Indy and same division. So
yeah.
I think Tennessee is still a team to contend with in that division, just because of the running back, and especially if they had Hopkins. But
it's because John lives there.
That's true. I know, but I think Tennessee's defense has gotten bad. They used to be a juggernaut in defense, and the defense got old, and they didn't replace them very quickly. And I agree. I think they could be shootouts.
I think that division is Jacksonville's for the taking. I really do. I just feel like they're the better team in that division.
Do we think Trevor Lawrence is going to repeat what he did on the ground last year? I think he had 300 or 400 yards rushing. I think he had maybe 5 rushing touchdowns, I believe.
Yeah, I mean it's still his game. Mm-hmm. He's a great thrower on the run, so he's always going to be mobile. They're always going to get him out of the pocket. He's not crazy tall, so they kind of have to get him out of the pocket anyway. So no, I think he'll probably still run for that many yards, and I think he'll throw for even more.
So you think 9's a fair rating, or 8 is a fair rating? He'll finish around there.
Yeah, I mean I have him in the top 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we have a tie for number 9. It's between Dak Prescott and Tua Tagovailoa.
Ooh, really?
Yeah. I'm going to talk personally. I like Tua better. Okay. I think Tua's weaponry is ridiculous. They added another fast player in the backfield who they're going to use in the passing game. And to me, when Tua's healthy, we saw what he can do. 400-yard games, 5 touchdown games. I think they like to pass the ball in Miami, and I think they're going to do that. So I like Tua more. But, like, you guys like Dak more?
No, I have Tua ranked at 9. So
Okay.
I have him ranked exactly the spot.
Keith?
I don't think Tua finishes the season. I think
That's the big worry. Yeah.
I mean, I have him way low because I won't take him. I just refuse to take somebody that his career could be over in one hit. I mean, it's beyond football for him, and
it's fair.
It's like, I mean, yes, he's got so many weapons, and it's going to even get better if they get this Dalvin Cook, which sounds like it might happen, which is just crazy.
God, if that happens, that is the fast-ass team. My God.
Yeah, it's extremely fast, and I just hope that he can get rid of the ball fast enough to not get hit. But yeah, I just won't take him. That's why I put him so low.
That's fair. My issue with Dak is that Kellen Moore left. And McCarthy keeps talking about how they want to run the ball more and take more prolonged drives and trying to score like less quickly, which to me is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Who cares how fast you score? Just score.
As long as you keep scoring. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm a little concerned about the offense. But it's, Dak, he wasn't healthy last year, but when he was still pretty good.
Yeah, I think what that hurt Dak is his interceptions. I think he had the most in the NFL last year, something around there. I think that comes back down with the more of a conservative West Coast offense that they're going to run over there. Add in Brandon Cooks, who's going to get off the ball quickly and get some quick passes. You still got Lamb there. I don't know who this tight end is that they added. I don't know really much about the rookie tight end that they got, but
Durham Smythe.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm sorry. That's the wrong team. Sorry about that.
I forget what his name is.
Is it Jake Ferguson?
No, I think it was. They drafted a new guy.
I'll find.
But yeah, it's. I think he's got the weapons there, and if they slow it down a little bit more, run Tony Pollard a little bit more like they should have last year, I think things are going to open up for him.
Well, they have Jake Ferguson and Peyton Hendershot, but they drafted Luke Schoonmaker. So
yeah, Schoonmaker.
Yeah.
I think they're going to actually throw to Pollard more, which could help Dak's numbers anyway, because Pollard in the open field with screen passes is going to be a nice addition, right? I mean, I like Dak. I don't love Dak. I have him at 11. So I like him because I think he's a talented quarterback, and he can have those games. I mean, he had a 90-point game last year in our league. He has those games, but then he also has those terrible games. Where
at the end of the season, he had like almost a negative game because he just kept turning the ball over.
It was 0.8.
0.8.
0.8.
Oh, wow.
He finished the last week. Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Number 11, John, I'm giving you the floor. This is your guy this year, Aaron Rodgers.
I have Aaron Rodgers at 7. I think we're crazy to think that Aaron Rodgers, who was the MVP 2 years in a row, 1 year removed, right? And so it's not like he's been old and declining for years. He had a shitty receiver core last year with a bunch of rookies and a bunch either very old or very young, nobody in between. Lost his main guy. The line wasn't very good. Running backs didn't produce like they normally did, and he still didn't do horrible. I mean, all things considered, he wasn't great, wasn't even good, I don't think, but he still got the talent. And now he goes to a Jets team who has a really good line, has really good running backs, has fantastic wide receiver room, and he's motivated as shit. Like, he's at camp, he's at voluntary OTAs. Like he
never does that.
No, this is a very motivated Rodgers. And the last time Rodgers was motivated was when they drafted Love, and he ended up as the MVP. So that's what I'm going to tell you. That's why I think he's going to have a stellar year. I've got him at 7. I'm not surprised if he ends in the top 3.
I'm just going to say the one thing, you're right about everything you just said. The one thing that concerns me is Robert Saleh. And this is a new offense that they're going to. So it might take some adjustment period.
New offense, but it's not a new offensive coordinator. He knows the offensive coordinator.
He does. He does. He played for him in Green Bay.
Yeah.
It's a very defensive-minded team, though, and I think they're going to. And the other thing is when you never know when that drop off in their accuracy and their throwing power happens. I mean, he's getting up there in age too, so it's just one of those.
He's got receivers that he could throw those short, quick strikes who can break it. Like I think they'll make up for it in certain ways. I think this offense is made for him, and I think everyone will catch on. This is a Johnny ball game gut feeling that he is going to be stellar this year. Like I'm targeting him in a couple.
Yeah, you can get him late, like 8th, 9th, 10th round, depending on your draft. The other thing is he's got Breece Hall to dump the ball. That's his Aaron Jones now. And Breece Hall is faster, stronger, bigger than Aaron Jones. So I like that fit. I could see him breaking off a few 70-yarders. And that's good for fantasy.
Yeah.
All right.
He's got a couple good tight ends there too. Like he's got weapons, man. It does so much.
Yeah. All right. Number 12, Deshaun Watson in Cleveland had a terrible year last year. But again, he was coming off he was suspended for, the first part of the season. He missed the entire season before. He was rusty. He didn't get like all that work in the preseason. Now he's got a full off season, and he can really incorporate himself into the offense better, learn his receivers. They added some weaponry. Keith, what do you think about Deshaun Watson?
I like him a lot. I think we're going to see old Deshaun back. I really do. I think he's going to be moving around a lot. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to get him some great opportunities to throw that ball. He's got a good receiving core around him, and if they get Hopkins, it only adds that better. And I really like him a lot. I mean, so we'll see.
Yeah, Cooper, Elijah Moore, that's pretty good. And you still have Njoku.
Njoku, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Njoku, Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Donovan, the law firm of Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Yeah. They also drafted Cedric Tillman. So, yeah, I mean, they got a nice little squad there. We'll see. We'll see if he can rebound. I'm looking for, where you can draft him. He's capable of a top 5 finish, and you can get him as, your 12th quarterback off the board. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. All right. Number 13, a guy that we still are disrespecting. He had a great year last year. That's Geno Smith. John, why is he 13 and not 5 where he finished last year?
Because he's Geno Smith, and he's never done it for more than one season. So we have a lot of doubters and haters out there in the world, including me. I have him ranked exactly at 13. Also, just because the quarterbacks above him are just better. You know what I mean? Like, there's better quarterbacks. There's no one that's going to look at Geno Smith and Aaron Rodgers and go, Aaron Rodgers is not better than Geno Smith. You know what I mean? Like, Aaron Rodgers is better than Geno Smith. Fields better than Geno Smith. Hurts better than Geno Smith. The reason he's 13 is because all these quarterbacks are better than him and have done it for longer. So, yeah, he had a great season, ended us 5th. And if he repeats the same performance this year, I don't know that performance gets him 5th. I think so many other quarterbacks had down years, right?
Yeah.
Rodgers had a shitty year. Fields wasn't coming into his own. So that finish, which was almost 200 points behind Patrick Mahomes, was good enough for 5th because the quarterback position sucked last year in general, right, from a consistency. So Geno's good, not great. And he's not going to be great this year either.
I think the narrative is they're going to want to go back to the Pete Carroll running game because they drafted, Charbonnet, right, to partner up with the explosive running back that they already have. But
they also
added Jackson Smith and Jigba. Yeah. So I'm not sure they're just going to.
It's a good receiving core. Lockett, DK, and now Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Can I get a hot Lockett, John?
Hot
Thank you. I think he's going to repeat what he did last year. I think that's about what we can expect from him.
I think
And
so too.
and it won't be
It's a good,
5
steady year.
because other quarterbacks will step up, like you said. But top 10, I could see that.
13, about 13. That's what I think is going to finish. About 13.
All right. The next guy is exactly where he always finishes and where he always should be, and that's Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is just a borderline quarterback 1, quarterback 2, and he just does enough. He puts up enough numbers to be relevant, but he's really not that good, John.
No. In fairness, he finished 8th in our league last year. So he did finish top 10.
But that's stat compiling because he was healthy all year. You know, like look at him points per game. You know, he's like 13th or 14th, right?
And he had the best receiver in the league last year.
Yeah, he did.
And he still only finished at 8 because he finished a whole year and because he had the best receiver in the league. So
and they added Jordan Addison too, like which is it's not a small thing. They added Jordan Addison, and they have KJ Osborne.
And they might take away Cook, so he might not have that weapon to give to. Now I think Alexander Madison's just as good at running back, and will probably get the ball just as much. But I think Cousins. It's weird because this is a contract year for Cousins, and he does magically do well in his contract years. And it is absolutely possible that at the end of the year, we're going, how the hell did Kirk Cousins end up at number 6? Right? Like, what world are we living in where that happened? So it's possible because he's got so many weapons and he can throw. He does stupid things and he's incredibly inconsistent.
He throws short of the chains, Johnny. They need it's 4th and 10. They need 10. He throws it 8.
I know.
That's
but then
things
he's got
with all these
Jefferson who makes these unbelievable one-handed catches for him and makes him look halfway good.
What were you saying, Keith?
You got all these quarterbacks, all right, 10 to 15. They're just all interchangeable. I mean, either one of them can be in the top 10. If one of them shot up to like 6 or 7, you wouldn't be that surprised about them. So,
right. We probably should have done this as like tiers, right? It's hard to rank them individually 1 through 20, but we can all say what the first tier quarterbacks, the second tier quarterbacks, and the third tier quarterbacks. Like that's an interesting exercise to do at one of these.
And we'll do that as we get closer to the season. We will tier them up for our viewers.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right. Number 15 is Jared Goff. Jared Goff is solid. He's a good quarterback now in Detroit. He's got weaponry, but he seems to have the home away splits. They're pretty bad. When he's on the road, he's just very, very, very underwhelming. And at home, he's very explosive. So I think you play him in the home games, you sit him on the road games, you might have a pretty good quarterback. Keith, what do you think? Or John, go ahead.
I was just going to say that was true for most of the year. I will say towards the end of the year, he started playing better away from home too. Like
that normaled out.
Actually, his finish to the season, pretty damn good. Like
it is really good.
Yeah.
It is really good. The problem is that the scandal that they had there and losing some of those wide receivers because due to betting. So I think he loses one of those wide receivers for like 6 weeks right off the bat.
Jameson Williams. Yeah,
Jameson Williams. And that kind of sucks because I was really
But he didn't have him all last year anyway, right? Like
no,
he
but
he started pass for a touchdown.
Yeah, I think he's going to be an explosive guy once he can get back on the field.
For sure.
And that's going to help Goff a lot. It's just one of those guys, one of these quarterbacks who you're just like, you're expecting big things from him, but you don't know whether he's going to be, is he going to go off or is he just going to be just mediocre like we think he could be?
Yeah, my issue with Goff is he's never had 2 good years in a row, right? Like he sneaks in a good year, they go to the Super Bowl, the next year he sucks. Next year he's pretty good, then he sucks, and now he's good again. Is he? Like, you don't know what you're going to get with Goff.
He also lost DJ Chark, who he was pretty comfortable with last year. But they did add Jahmyr Gibbs.
That first week, I think they play against Kansas City the first week.
Yes, they do.
That's going to be a fun game.
It is. Yeah. Do we think Jahmyr Gibbs is more explosive than Swift?
Yes.
Well, I think he's going to be healthier than Swift. That's for sure.
You know how you're more explosive is when you play. Like,
Yeah,
that's all you gotta
when
do.
you're on the
Be more
field, you can be
explosive.
more explosive.
They always
Yeah.
say
That's
the
for
best
sure.
ability is availability.
Availability.
All right.
Yeah.
These next two quarterbacks on our list are both so similar to me because they're such disappointments last year. We thought they were going to have really good years, and neither one of them did. I'm talking about Russell Wilson at 16 and Derek Carr at 17. But at the end of the year, Russell Wilson seemed to figure a few things out in Denver. It was a little bit better in the playoff run for you fantasy owners. Do we buy it, John? Because I can see by your eye roll that you're not buying it.
I didn't put him on my list, Chuck.
Yeah.
He's not in my top 20. I don't buy it. I don't believe in Russell Wilson. I know Sean Payton is a fantastic coach, but even Sean Payton couldn't take what was his name? Jameis
Winston or Taysom Hill.
Or Taysom Hill. Or like he can only work with what he's got. And I don't think Wilson still has what Wilson had. I think he's getting older. I think he's still short. I think he's not very good right now.
He's still short?
He's still short. And I'm not even sure his own team likes him that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like all the stories from last year and all the bullshit, that didn't go away. He's still on the team.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Keith.
I mean, I have more faith in Sean Payton, I guess. I think he's going to do some magical things with Russ. Yeah. But Drew Brees, I mean, come on. I really think
Drew Brees was great before he got there. Drew Brees was already a great quarterback. Peyton didn't make him a great quarterback.
Yeah.
He was really good with the Chargers.
Yeah, true.
All right. I just want to add a couple things here for Russell Wilson. He's getting Tim Patrick back from the ACL injury. So,
oh, thank God.
I mean, they added Mims in the draft too.
I actually think Mims' addition is more important than the Tim Patrick comeback.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just 4 good weapons. And Dolchik is in his second year, and they want to utilize him at tight end. I think
weapons.
This could work.
I agree. He has weapons. They've got a good running back if he comes back healthy.
Javonte.
I just don't. I'm not buying it.
What about Derek Carr? Are you buying Derek Carr? Because now he goes to the Saints, and he's got Olave, and he's got Michael Thomas, and he's got Rashihi and all that. And Troutman and Johnson at tight end. But it's Derek Carr. And I don't believe in Derek Carr because he locks on to the first fucking guy he looks at. And if that guy's not open, it's over.
Olave. Good. Yeah. Lock onto Olave. I'm drafting Olave. I want you to lock onto him, and I want you to give me a great season for Olave. I believe in Carr. I've got him at 12. It's funny. They brought in Gruden, who we thought was banished to football graveyard for a couple of weeks to work with him, and he had his best seasons under Gruden. So I don't hate this at all. I have Carr at 12. I think Carr's going to have a comeback season this year.
What do you think, Keith?
I just don't see anything special. I just don't think he's going to be that great. I think I've never had really that much faith in the Saints realistically, especially since Sean Payton left. I don't think that the O-line's going to hold up. They didn't hold up last year.
Kamara might be out. He might be suspended.
Yeah, you've got a lot of things that, and Michael Thomas, come on.
Michael Thomas is happy and ready to go. What did you hear? Didn't you hear the news?
Yeah.
One of these years, John, he's going to stay healthy, John.
Yeah, okay.
And it's going to make Royce happy.
It was called his rookie year. That was one of these years. Yeah.
He had like 3 great years, and then the 1 year that I drafted him in the first round, he decides I don't want to play anymore. I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, I question if the man is truly – does he love football? I don't know.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem motivated.
All right, too much time on Michael Thomas.
Yeah. All right, You're right. Let's move on. All right, number 18 is also a tie. So at 18 and 19, we have Matthew Stafford and Daniel Jones. Let's talk about Daniel Jones first, John.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think you like him a little bit more than Stafford, right?
Yeah. Actually, I think I'd put Stafford one spot ahead of him. But again, this was they're about kind of the same to me, right? Like if I've got to depend on one of those two quarterbacks to win me a championship, I better have drafted 2 stud running backs and 2 stud receivers in order for one of those guys to take me to a championship. So I think Jones has more upside than Stafford. That's what I'll say with Jones. Jones can use his legs. Jones is starting to kind of come into his own. Got a contract. We don't have to worry about that. He's got good tight ends. I think Waller's a fantastic addition there. I don't even hate the receiver room like I did last year.
Is Waller going to be their number 1 wide receiver, though?
They're slotty as hell, guys. All they have are slot receivers, a bunch of slots.
That's good because that's all Jones can throw. So let him hit them all in the slot. Just hit opening. Just keep going down the field.
Yeah, I mean, he has a plethora of receivers. I don't know if they're any good, though.
Pop it out to Saquon. Have you heard of him? He's pretty good. Great wide receiver, too. So let's just we'll go to Waller and we'll go to Saquon and we'll have a Pro Bowl year.
All right. So Keith, do you think that, Daniel Jones could finish in top 10? Is that realistic?
No, I don't. We named off all these other quarterbacks that are so much better than him and that have way better receivers and receiver cores and tight ends. I mean, Waller's going to – where is Waller going to finish? Do you have him in the top 5 tight ends?
No, I do not.
I don't.
I do. I have him in the top 5 tight ends. He's probably my number 5. I mean, tight ends suck. Are you guys kidding me right now? Like, after what's his face from Kansas City, and then
Kelsey,
Andrews, Kittle, Waller. Like, who's above that? The tight ends are horrible. So yeah, I do have Waller up there. I don't know if that helps him, but
yeah, I just think the wide receivers are junk. I really don't want any part of that team, honestly.
Okay, and then we got Stafford. He still has Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson.
Yeah.
I feel like they became more of a conservative team last year, and that's just not his style of coaching, right? I mean, McVay likes to run throw the ball down the field, right? He wants to make those big plays, those big chunk plays. I feel like, and Stafford had the arm injury last year, and he's fully healthy now.
Yeah.
I feel like Stafford's a buy low candidate, John.
I don't disagree. Like I said, I had Stafford at 1 ahead of Jones. So again, Stafford would it surprise me if he's a top 10? No, it wouldn't, because I know he's got the talent. He's been there before. He's just another year older and more banged up than he was in the past. He had a shitty year last year, but the Rams have a tendency to do every other year good. So maybe this is their every other year good.
Yeah, I think Stafford has the potential to have a lot of shootouts. I think their defense has gone to crap.
It does.
Yeah.
It's not good.
And it's sad that their defense has gotten so bad, and now they're going to be in a lot of shootouts.
So quickly too, right? Like that was a dominant defense.
Oh yeah, yeah, and then it just went to crap.
Yeah.
I mean, they just got to stop relying on Cooper Kupp so much. When he's just constantly targeting Cooper Kupp, it makes it easy for other teams just to guard one guy. So
he's always open.
Yeah. He is always open.
Yeah, but always open for like 4 yards. Come on.
I know, but look at him last year, dude. Last year, everyone knew they were throwing to him. They had no one else. And if he hadn't got hurt, he would have ended as the wide receiver 1. He's always open.
He was on pace to do exactly what he did the year before, which is go like Triple Crown. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Ballistic. Yeah.
All right. Last but not least, number 20, and this one's a drum roll because I know John, you guys aren't quite sure who finished 20th, right? Not quite sure. Jordan Love. Let's go.
Because I had him up there. I am at 15, so yeah.
John's not feeling that, Keith. Keith.
I'm glad he made the list.
Keith, tell him what's up with Jordan Love this year.
Convince me.
I think that the time that he's had behind Rodgers is really beneficial. I actually liked him coming out of college. I thought he was a good quarterback, and then they played him for a couple games and he looked like crap, and I was like, oh man, maybe I was really wrong about this guy. But he's got something. I really think that he's going to be one of those quarterbacks that sat for a couple of years, then comes out like Aaron Rodgers did. Aaron Rodgers did the exact same thing. He sat for a couple of years, and the next thing you know, boom. I think he's got it.
Let's not forget about Christian Watson, who went on that tear for touchdowns and long plays. They still have Aaron Jones coming out of the backfield. They got Romeo Doubs. They drafted Jaden Reed. They drafted 2 tight ends in Musgrave and Tucker Kraft. I mean, they have enough weaponry there, John. And this guy can throw the ball down the field, which is something Rodgers wasn't doing a lot of last year, unless his name was Christian Watson.
Yep.
Okay. I'm not convinced. It's the same crap wide receivers that Rodgers couldn't manage to throw to last year. They didn't do shit to shore up their line. They're playing in a really tough division now where Detroit, Chicago, Minnesota all are coming on and all of their defenses are good. I don't feel Jordan Love will finish in the top 20 quarterbacks. I really don't.
Okay.
I have zero confidence in that.
But you did think that Ryan Tannehill would finish in the top 20. So talk about that.
I just think he will. I think he's got a running game and he's got a wide receiver now. And what's his face? Not Hopkins, because we don't know about that. But what's the other guy? I'm talking about their number one.
Treylon Burks.
Yeah.
Thank you. Burks is healthy this year going into the season. He is going to be the A.J. Brown. And when Tannehill had A.J. Brown and he had a healthy Henry, Tannehill was a top 10 quarterback. Tannehill will have that. And if he gets Hopkins, oh my gosh.
If he gets Hopkins, that's a different story. Yeah. Also, their tight end. I like the tight end, Nwankwo. I like him a lot too.
I like him a lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just telling you, Tannehill will have a better season than Love.
Okay.
Oh, I feel bet coming on.
Yeah.
That's
what kind of bet are we doing
here? We got to put something together on that because I'm totally down for that.
Nice.
I think Tannehill will not even survive the entire season. I think they're going to go to Will Levis at some point.
Oh, they're not going to go to Will Levis this year.
I don't see it going well for Tennessee this year.
Okay.
Neither do I.
Okay. No, count him out. That'll be fun. Underestimate him.
He's getting mad. He's from Tennessee. He's getting mad.
I don't care. I really don't care. I just put him on my list.
One of the guys I had at 20 on my list was Bryce Young. I like the kid. He's smart. He's accurate. I think he's gonna surprise some people. He's gonna finish in the top 20. John,
I don't hate it. It's a weak division. I think he's gonna have to throw. I don't hate it. I don't hate that.
You don't.
I have Jimmy G in my top 20.
You do. If he stays healthy, he should finish in the top 20. To be honest, what do we think about Tony Richardson though? A lot of hype for Tony Richardson because he's going to run the ball. John says no.
I don't know. It's a tough one. I didn't pay attention to him much in college, so I don't know what to expect. The hype is really loud for him. He's going in these best ball drafts, and I'm like, what the heck's going on? Who's this guy that's going into my best ball drafts? It's kind of odd.
He's only the most athletic quarterback ever measured at the combine in the history of the NFL. That's what's going on. But that doesn't translate into throwing passes directly in your receiver's arms.
Do you remember when John
Ross
was
he like
the
Cam
fastest
Newton
wide receiver ever to be at the combine? Do you
exactly.
remember that?
And he's done zilch.
Yeah.
He's on the Chiefs, by the way. I don't know.
I know. The fact that you mentioned, I didn't even know that he was still in the league. So, all right. Yeah.
And we're not even sure that Tony Richardson's going to be starting there. I mean, Gardner Minshew's there. He might start.
That's kind of my thing. I feel like I think Gardner will start for the first 5 games or whenever they have their bye, and then I think Richardson will take over after that. When Tannehill's already thrown for 5 300-yard games in a row.
It's not happening. Tony Richardson, though, folks, in Dynasty's great pick. Get him.
Yeah, for sure.
Great.
Yeah. Good
In redraft, though, pump the brakes a little bit. Pump the brakes. Yeah. And I wanted to talk about Keith's 20. It was Kyler Murray, and that's John does not like Kyler Murray. In case you guys don't know.
No,
What do you
I
call
don't
him,
care
John?
for him either.
Easy E. I can't with him. First of all, he's not going to play the whole year, right? So he's not going to start the season.
Yeah.
His own receivers are like, no, I want to leave because I want to go play with somebody who actually wants to play football. They're getting rid of all of their talent. James Conner's like, no, I promise, we're still a contender. No, James, you're not. You're rebuilding. You're retooling now. Let's stop. And Kyler Murray's not going to be their quarterback even next season. So there's no reason for me to believe that Kyler Murray is going to be in the top 20 of anything other than top 20 biggest busts of all time.
Wow. Keith.
He's maybe not that bad.
Honestly, I mean, the problem was I looked at the other 10 quarterbacks and I was like, gosh, come on.
Like,
really? I got to put somebody else up here.
I mean, if he comes back and plays half the year.
You put him on there for his potential, right? Like,
I think he can come.
Years that were fantastic.
Yes, he can come back and just be like, you know what? I'm going to get my act together. I'm basically in a contract year because I'm going to be off this team next year. I got to put something together, and he's going to come out.
Could
possibly be a tear, you know? Maybe he gets his legs back underneath him and starts running the ball again.
Yeah.
Because he's short, right, Johnny?
Tiny. He's a little fella.
All right. So that's our top 20. Let us know what you think in the comments about our top 20. Would you put someone else in there? Would you take one of our guys out? I think this is a pretty good list we made here, folks. Except for the Tannehill thing.
And Love. I mean, honestly, either of those picks in the top 20 are horrible picks. Probably. Let's just be honest with each other.
We're gonna figure out a bet because I'd like to take Jordan Love to outscore Tannehill, and John, I know you'd like to take Tannehill.
I'll have to think about it because I'm not sure I want to even take Tannehill over Jordan Love. Let's be honest with you.
He's backing out already.
Either of those quarterbacks in my list. So.
All right, we got to wrap things up. We went well over an hour. I apologize for that, but hey, we got to talk about these quarterbacks, so we had to do it.
We got fun.
We had some good stuff tonight. I want to thank our guest for tonight. Hopefully, we'll be back next week, Keith, because we enjoyed having you. Mr. Fantasy Antagonist, thank you.
Yes, sir. Good having you, Keith.
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, that was fun.
Times.
Once again, fantastic, great knowledge, Johnny freaking Ballgame.
Thanks, Reaper. I appreciate it, man. Always love the show. Love that you run it because it makes my life easier. So thank you for that.
I appreciate you guys for the Fantasy Antagonist and Jonathan Wesley Ballgame III. I am the Fantasy Reaper. We'll see you next week. Hit that like button, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And